Now, your First Alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Stephen Bowers.
All right, we were right into the weekend, and I got to tell you, it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous weekend with sunshine, lots of sunshine. There may be a few clouds Saturday night into Sunday, maybe even Sunday afternoon. But look, we're going to warm from almost 40 by 9 a.m. to almost 50 by noon, and then into the 50s by 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. And then it's a similar story, but maybe just a smidge warmer on Sunday. Sunday gets close to 60 degrees in the afternoon, and you kind of see a similar pattern around Montrose, starting with low to mid 30s at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, Saturday and Sunday morning, and then we warm to the 40s by lunchtime, and then toward 50 at 4 p.m. on Saturday and into the 50s by 4 p.m. on Sunday. Here's where there's one little issue. Okay, it's kind of a big issue, actually. You see these areas where there's white showing up on the maps, and they're mostly favoring the higher mountain ranges. That's where we have between 60 and 70 inches of snow on the ground right now. And there is a lot of snow on the ground right now. We can see it. There's a live look from Highway 550 there near Silverton. There's a live view from Rocky Mountain National Park. You see those slopes are covered there on the Continental Divide. There is Monarch Pass. Highway 50 looks good, but there is lots of snow on those steep slopes. There's I-70 in front of the Eisenhower and Johnson Tunnel, which again looks in pretty good shape, but those slopes nearby have an awful lot of snow on them. There's Highway 6 at Arapahoe Basin. And that's a concern, all that snow, because of the avalanche risk. And it's highest in the central to northern mountains, but it is significant. Maybe not quite as high, but still significant. High enough down in the San Juans. And of course, it was in the San Juans near Silverton when we had that deadly avalanche yesterday. And I've got to tell you, it's the west, north, and east facing peaks that are the most favored for avalanches. The south favored peaks still have an elevated risk, even though it's not quite as high. So yeah, there is some danger out there to be sure. Now, the mainstay in our forecast, I should say, is going to be this area of high pressure. And this is not in a big hurry to move. It doesn't have a whole lot of get up and go. And so what's going to happen is this is going to take over the main influence of our weather here, and it's going to mean lots of sunshine for us through the weekend. And even as an upper level disturbance blows over the top of it, that brings a few clouds to us tomorrow night, but probably no precipitation. Maybe there's a flurry up in the mountains, but then there's this next big storm system. This blows ashore tomorrow night and into Sunday over the Pacific Northwest. But it's going to get bumped to the north by this area of high pressure, so that's not really an issue for us even into early next week. That high pressure is not in a big hurry to move, and that's going to keep us dry, but we do need some moisture. The drought monitor update that was released yesterday, it's released once a week, still shows persistent moderate drought up and down the Utah and Colorado state line, spreading up into our mountains now from the west. And then there's still severe drought down south, but we did chip away at it just a little bit from the west. So there was some small improvement noted around Montezuma County especially. We still need a lot more moisture though across the western slope. 50 degrees was our high today. That's close to where we should be for this time of year, but the low of 37 was more than 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. And we still have a few clouds around, but these are clearing out and they'll continue clearing out. We're at 48 now, and with that gradual clearing, we'll step down through the 40s and into the 30s by the time we get to 9 o'clock. Lows by morning will be near 27 degrees around Grand Junction. Expect 23 at Delta, 21 at both Montrose and Nucla, with 17 at Glade Park and Cortez. And then tomorrow we're back up into the 50s. We'll call it 55 for the high in Grand Junction with 50 at Montrose. Expect 54 at Delta and Nucla, 53 at Cortez, and 46 will be that high temperature in Glade Park. 7-day forecast keeps this warming going into next week. So we're approaching 60 on Sunday and then in the 60s come Monday, and we will stay in mostly mid 60s through next Friday. Morning lows are climbing out of the 20s over the weekend and into the lower middle 30s next week around Grand Junction. And Montrose, you're stepping up through the 50s and into the lower 60s next week. And the lows are also on the way up from low to mid 20s over the weekend to near 30 for the start of next week. In Delta, expect middle and upper 50s this weekend. Some low to mid 60s are in next week's forecast. Morning lows will climb out of the 20s and up to the lower 30s for the start of next week. And in Cortez, expect 50s this weekend, 60s next week, and morning lows from teens tomorrow morning to lower middle 20s after that.